Hey, what's going on, everybody? Brian Mead here. I'm gonna do an update on my DracoPal deck profile. I haven't done any videos for a while because I'm actually getting ready to move cross country and moving from Seattle, Washington, where I currently live, to Chicago, Illinois. So looking forward to seeing a lot of players out there and getting to know the Chicago environment a little bit more. But for now, anyway, we're going to do a deck profile on these DracoPals. So, apologize for the lack of content lately and the lack of content probably for the next couple weeks. But after I get set up out there, I'm hoping to have a lot more stuff. So, alright, here we go. So, one copy of Purple Skullcrat Joker, one copy of the Monkey Board, 1, 2, 3 copies of Purple Pendulum Sorcerer. The card's way too good. I've cut down to 2 copies of Liz Draw and 1 copy of Good Turtle. Seems to be a better way to go most of the time. 2 copies of Silver Claw. Really like it when I can set my scales with Pendulum Sorcerer and a Silver Claw. Get a 1300 point bonus after the Pendulum Summon. It's really nice. 1 copy of Performable Partanaga. Still like to be able to use King of the Feral Imps to get the high scale or the low scale. So 1 copy of Partanaga. Plus his effect is really good to just give everybody a bunch of extra attack points. Or not everybody, but somebody in it, a bunch of extra attack points. 3 copies of Master Pendulum. 2 copies of Vector and 1 copy of Luster. This just seems to be the best setup at this point, with only having 1 Draco face-off. I don't really feel like I need to have 3 vectors. 2 vectors just does just fine, but I still want the 3 masters and the 1 luster because there's a lot of, like, you use Ignister to special summon out of the deck, and you can do a lot of combos as long as you have multiples, so you can just keep special summoning from everywhere and turn like 1 Synchro monster into a Synchro Xyz and a fusion. 2 copies of Archfiend Eccentric. 2 copies of Summoner Monk. So the last time I put up a copy of this video, I got some negative feedback because and this is the first card that kind of is off of, because it's different than everybody else's. But this card's actually really, really good in here. First of all, you can special summon the Pendulum Sorcerer, which will activate its effect, and even if you do this, like, this is the first card you play, and effect activates, puts it in defense mode, you discard a spell card, and you'll get that Pendulum Sorcerer, and then the Pendulum Sorcerer's effect activates, and you automatically have 2 targets. So right there, you're like, okay, well now I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to get Monkey Board and Good Turtle. You activate the Good Turtle, activate the Monkey Board, that's a draw 1, then you search, so now you're up by 2, and then, use Monkey Board to search for Performable Second Donkey, which is the next card, and I also run that at 2. Whenever this is normal or special summoned, if you have your Pendulum scale set, you can search Performable straight to your hand, so sometimes this can actually be better than like Skullcrat Joker, which you have to normal summon, because you still get the effect when you special summon this, so you can set up some wonky combos using your Pendulum Summon. And then the last for the monsters is 3 copies of Max C. Max C is good against pretty much everything. It's really awesome to play it against, with BA being pretty much the best deck in the format at this point. Triple Max C does really good. That's not to say that I want it against all decks. It gets sided out against like Monarchs, but it's really good against BA and PK Fire and everything. So Cosmo, other pendulums. Into the spells, I got 1 copy of Draco Face Off because they only let me play 1. 2 copies of Pendulum Rising. This card is so awesome. So you can, this card is really great with, you can use it with Summoner Monk. If you've already discarded like another spell, then you activate the Pendulum Rising, target the Summoner Monk. Summoner Monk goes away, you get another Pendulum monster out. It's really good for you can search. The cards you usually search with it are Pendulum Sorcerer, unless you already have one like kind of floating in play. Otherwise, you can search out the Luster right from your deck, which is great because it gets you your Ignister plays a lot faster. But yeah, you can hit this on the Donkey or the Summoner Monk really nicely and get some great combos out of that. Next, I got 2 copies of Instant Fusion. This is because in the extra deck I have Thousand Eyes and Norden. I really love this combo where you go Instant Fusion, summon a Thousand Eyes Restrict, suck up your opponent's monster, then Pendulum Summon out the Pendulum Sorcerer, and you target the Thousand Eyes and the sucked up monster, which, because the destruction happens simultaneously, both cards get destroyed and you get to search, which is fun. 1 copy of Raigeki, and then 3 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon. Twin Twister's good, and I'm not downing Twin Twister in any way, but I don't want to discard, really, so MST works better for me. I do have Twin Twister in the side deck, so just in case. Into the traps, 1 copy of Solemn Warning, 2 copies of Storming Mirror Force. Love Storming Mirror Force. 1 copy of Time Space Trap Hole, and 1 copy of Bottomless Trap Hole. So no surprise there, running the Trap Tricks engine. By now, obviously, I'm not running the Counter Fairy engine or Counter Trap engine, depending on what you want to call it. But I think both have their merits. I think both are good. But for me and my play style, I play a very toolboxy, Yu-Gi-Oh style, and I like being able to get to my cards at any point, not just if I draw them or if I draw the cards to search them. And the fact is, with this deck, you can make a rank for any point, and so that means that your trap hole cards instantly become accessible, especially like first turn when you're just trying to set up that defensive board. She's great, and that's why I've chosen to go with the Trap Tricks build over the Counter Fairy build. It's just personal preference, and it works better for me. I have a higher win ratio with this deck than I do with my Counter Fairy build online. So this is the one I play in real life. Anyway, 1 copy of Trap Tricks Rafflesia, 1 copy of Hope Titanic, 1 copy of King of the Feral Imps, 1 copy of Silent Honor Arc, 1 copy of Castel. I might drop Honor Arc for 2 Castel. I keep going back and forth. 1 copy of Abyss Dweller, 1 copy of Heartland Drago, 1 copy of Degusto Emerald, 1 copy of Giant Hand, 1 copy of Thousand Eyes, and 1 copy of Norden, 1 copy of Ascending Draco Slayer, 1 copy of Ignister, and 2 copies of Dynaster. Alright, so that is the main deck profile. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to keep watching, I'll do the side deck too, but that's the main deck. Now for everybody who's stuck around. Alright, so side deck, 2 copies of System Down, because boo Cosmos. 2 copies of Effect Veiler, 1 copy of Abyss Dweller, 2 copies of Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, 2 copies of Twin Twister, 2 copies of Mask Restrict, 2 copies of Imperial Iron Wall, one copy of Time Space Travel, and one copy of Soul Drain. Yeah. So that's that. Monarchs. Master Restrictor shuts down Monarchs. Soul Drain, Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. These are wonderful. The second Abyss Dweller, obviously PK Fire and BA. I don't want those effects activating the grave, so boo. Cosmos, got my Imperial Iron Walls. I got my System Downs. There's always at least 4 cards I can side deck in towards the main deck. So that's my main deck. That's my side. That's my extra. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I'll come to you with a new video when I get to Chicago. Later, guys.